everybody's doing well and remaining strong in faith in spite of everything that we see going on in the world. The things that's going on in the world are real, family. Let's not pretend that they're not happening. To deny that this world is going down is to be someone who has went back to sleep. These things that are happening are real. They were prophesied, okay? And I know there's times when we keep waking up to bad news every single day, something new has come up, that sometimes people may get a little weary, okay? Sometimes those thoughts creep in your mind, well, where's the Most High? Why isn't he doing something? And you tend to get a little bit frustrated, okay? But the Most High is always working. And the reason we can't see it is because his thoughts and ways are not ours. So quite naturally, for the most part, you can't see his hand at work unless you know what to look for. And that causes people anxiety and everything else. But just know that he's always working and working on our behalf of those who believe. Okay? In spite of how troubling things seem to be right now. And they're going to get worse. And when all these things come to a final culmination, then we'll begin to see the Most High's hand at work even more, because it's nearing the time when Mashiach returns. So he returns after the tribulation. Okay, you can't go around believing what these pastors say about any pre-tribulation rapture and all that. It clearly tells you that Mashiach returns after the tribulation, okay? So those of us that's still alive, might go through a little rough time. But those who are in the Most High, he's going to cover you, okay? You can look at Psalms 91 and read that whole chapter, okay? Kind of reassure yourself, all right? And we get tempted to pray, for this to end now. We get tempted to pray for the day, that terrible day of the Most High. And we shouldn't do that, okay? I don't think that any of us want to really see that, all right? Because it's not a picnic. It's going to be very, very frightening. Now, we live in a world where we've experienced tornadoes and hurricanes, floods, all kind of adverse weather. And most people, just a severe thunderstorm is enough to scare them, let alone a tornado or a hurricane. So if things like that frighten you now, you definitely don't want to see or pray for the day of the Most High. In the Bible, it say day of the Lord. But you don't want to see that day, family. It's not a picnic. So first we'll start off and we're going to read verses to kind of remind us what that day going to be like. And family, why we use so many scriptures on this channel is because more than just believers or people who pretty much know the scriptures watch this channel. You know, people who are still stuck in Christianity and they've never heard these things that's coming up on the earth because they never talk about them. They talk about smooth things, you know, in churches. You know, how good the Most High is and how much you can get if you give this, and it's just really watered down. They never tell you, you know, about the end times. And basically, I believe the pastors don't even know because they never even focus on it or talk about it. So it's like the blind leading the blind. Okay? Those people stuck in Christian churches have no idea what's on the horizon. They think, according to those pastors, that this world going to get better. And it's not. But they won't tell you that. So therefore, you just going to church shouting and tithing and all this here, and you won't have no idea what hit you. Okay? So first, we're just going to the scriptures about that terrible day. And hopefully those who don't know will begin to understand. You know, when you share it with them, this video with them. And that's my hope. Those of us who know, who watch this channel, is to share it with non-believers or people who are being misled or deceived. Don't just watch it yourself. Get somebody else to watch it, your family or friends. You know, it's very important that you also share the word, okay? This word is not limited to teachers, okay? Everybody can share this, all right? So let's get into the scriptures first about that day. You know, I'm going to start off with Daniel 7:25. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of time, which is 3.5 years. Okay. If you look at that verse, it says, and shall wear out the saints. See, with all these things happening every day, family, you know, this is why I say sometimes people get a little bit weary. But don't ever give up and just seek the Most High in prayer when you start feeling like that, because this is what Satan wants you to do. He wants to wear you out to where you'll just quit believing. Oh, I don't see the Most High doing nothing, you know. This is hopeless. You know, we're going to be destroyed. And that's the furthest thing from the truth. See, Satan is not convinced that you are really, really into the word of the Most High. He's not convinced at all. So this is why he does a whole bunch of things just to wear you out, because he's not convinced that you're grounded in the word. Okay? And so this is why he's allowed to test you. If you go back and look at the story of Job, you will see it. You know, Satan wasn't convinced about Job. So the Most High allowed him to test Job. Okay? And Job stood his ground. But that's not what that whole story was about. The Most High knew good and well Job wasn't going to turn on him. He didn't have nothing to prove to Satan. Most High don't owe Satan no explanation. He already knew Job wasn't going to turn. The story was deeper than that. Yes, he allowed Job to be tested, but he used that time to work on Job because Job had a little sense of self-righteousness. And that's what the Most High was really trying to correct. Because when you start reading on through the chapters, you'll see that the Most High had to put Job in check, for about 3 or 4 chapters because of his self-righteousness. And even his friends said it, let's just don't talk to Job no more because Job is self-righteous. And that's what really the Most High was working on. He knew Job wasn't going to turn on him. Just like we have faith in the Most High. Most High's people who believe his word and in the word, the Most High has faith in you. So we wouldn't want to be disappointed by our faith in the Most High, and he don't want to be disappointed by his faith in you. When he allowed these things to come upon you and being tested, he has faith in you that you're going to survive it. You're going to pass the test. Okay? So we strive not to have the Most High lose faith in his people who believe. Okay, so we just have to fight against, all this spiritual wickedness. Galatians 6 and 9. And let us not be weary in well-doing, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not. See, we can't allow what we see, what's going on in this world, to cause us to faint. Family, when you start fainting, you'll start becoming apostate. You start riding the fence, living in doubt. So you can't allow that to happen. Okay? You'll find yourself among the millions of people who has fallen away. And what the scriptures say, that day shall not come until they be a falling away first. And that falling away, it don't mean 10 here and 20 here. This is global. This is worldwide falling away. Okay? So we can't afford to let weariness and fainting come into our spirit, family. We just can't allow it. Just have to wait on the Most High. His timing is not ours, okay? 2 Timothy 2 and 3 says, Thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahushua. See, we just got to endure these things, family. When every day we wake up and there's something, family, on the news. We know about the chemtrails and the GMO food and the water, being contaminated, and famine is on the increase, and gas prices, and the taxes done increased, and this so-called pestilence and all these mandates, and pretty much the healthcare system is non-existent. They pretty much done sold us down the tubes. Now they finding plastic in people's lungs when they do autopsies. Then you got this Ukraine and Russia war going on and whatever they're doing over there. And the banking system is on the verge of collapse. And to add insult to injury, they're putting together, the Sunday worship by law. In other words, they'll make a law that you have to worship on Sunday. See, all these things are part of this new world government or system that's near at hand. Okay, and this is why in Revelation, I think that's Revelation 12:12, where it say, "Woe to the inhabitants of the earth." For Satan has come down to you. And he's pulled out all the stops, family, because he knows that he only has a short time. They may be able to implement this one world system, but it's going to be short-lived. Because if you read Revelation, the book of Revelations, which these Christian pastors never do, you'll see that those kingdoms that help the beast are going to see through him, and that he's not what he say he is, and they're going to turn on him. So it's going to be a short-lived situation, family. Okay. But you won't hear that, see, in these churches. This is why people need to get out of them and get into the true word of the Most High. You're not going to hear it in church. I'm sorry. Hebrews 12:7. If you endure chastening, the Most High deals with you as like with a son. For what son is he that the Father chasteneth not? See? Listen. If the Most High is correcting you and letting you go through things, family, it is because that he loves you. That's who he chastens. He's not going to chasten his enemies like that. Okay? He's trying to straighten you out just like your earthly parents would. It's not because your parents didn't love you, but you got chastised or spanked or whatever it was to keep you from making that mistake later in life, in your adulthood. Okay? So you have to be taught while you are young, while you're yet a child. And to the Most High, we're children, because he's ageless. He has no beginning or end. So we're all children under him, and so he chastises his children. Okay? James 1, chapter 1, verse 2 through 4. My brethren, count it all joy when you fall into different temptations, knowing this, that the trying of your faith works patience. But let patience have a perfect work, that you may be perfect and entire, wanting nothing. See, when we fall into these temptations or tests, or trials, it works patience in you. We wait patiently on the return of Mashiach. He's going to set this whole thing right, family. We just got to endure and not faint. Okay? It gets hard, family. I'm not sitting here trying to make light of anything. It is hard at times, especially with us seeing all these things that's come up on this earth daily. Every day is something new. And so we just can't sit around. When you sit around and focus on all this stuff that's going on, family, you're going to get disheartened. And the scriptures tells us what to think on, think on things that's good and lovely and all those things. It tells you think on these things, because we go to focusing on all this stuff that's going on, family. I'm telling you, it will start putting you in doubt. You will start riding the fence, and eventually you'll fall off the fence on the wrong side. Okay? You just fall away. um, 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 16 through 18. For which cause we faint not, but though our outward man perish, yet the inward man is renewed day by day. For our light affliction, which is but for a moment, worketh for us a more exceeding and eternal weight of glory. While we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporary. They temporary, family. But the things which are not seen are eternal. Okay? That's the way we have to look at this, family. The things we're going through now, it's temporary. It's not going to last. Mashiach going to put an end to all this. So this is temporary. Psalms chapter 9, verse 9 through 10. The Most High also will be a refuge for the oppressed, a refuge in times of trouble. And they that know thy name will put their trust in thee, for thou hast not forsaken them that seek thee. See, he's not going to forsake us, family. That's just not going to happen for those of us that believe. All right? Now let's look at the scriptures about that great and terrible day of the Most High and why we should not pray for it. Okay? Now there are things that we can pray for. Go read, Psalms 109. Read that whole chapter. Those are the things we can pray for, against our enemies and those who wish to destroy us. But we don't pray for that day, okay? What we can pray is like Isaiah 54:17. No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Most High, and their righteousness is of me, saith Yahuwah. Okay? So look, family, there's no truth in nothing anymore. We know the earth is contaminated, the water, the air, the food, and even though we stick to what the Most High tells us that we can and cannot eat, we have no control over the people who grow the food or slaughter the meat. We don't know if they sacrificed it to we don't know anything. So this is why it's important, before you swallow a drop of food, is to pray over it. Just pray to the Most High. Let the Father know, Father, we're eating the things that you said that we could eat. But the wicked has done things to the food and water, that could harm us. And so you pray, that any weapon they form against you just won't prosper. See? And I know it's best, we try to grow our own food. But they have a way of contaminating it too. You know, when they go around, spraying chemtrails and all this other stuff they do. When people tried to get away from GMO foods, what did they do? They went and bought all the farmers out. Bought their farms. So it's hard for you to get any food that's not GMO, family. That's just being truthful. It's hard to. They may label it as non-GMO, but you can't believe nothing. When has this world ever told us the truth about anything? Okay? It may have a label on it. This is 100% organic. But we don't know that, do we? And they don't even have to label the food as being GMO. Okay? Let's go to Isaiah 13:6. It says, "Howl ye, for the day of Yahuwah is at hand. It shall come as a destruction from the Almighty." See, we talking about that day that we shouldn't pray for. It's not going to be a picnic, family. It never has happened before like this, and it won't happen again. That flood in Noah's time pales in comparison. Okay? Greatly. Isaiah chapter 13, verse 9 through 11. "Behold, the day of Yahuwah cometh, cruel, both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. For the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light. The sun shall be darkened in his going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine. And I will punish the world for their evil, and the wicked for their iniquity. And I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and I will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible." See, it's not going to be good, man. That's a day I don't think we want to pray for, and a day that when it happens, the Most High has already secured us somewhere, away from it. Zephaniah chapter 1, verse 14 through 17. "The great day of Yahuwah is near. It is near, and hastens greatly. Even the voice of the day of Yahuwah. The mighty man shall cry bitterly." That day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress, a day of wasteness and desolation, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness, a day of the trumpet and alarm against the fenced cities and against the high towers. And I will bring distress upon men, that they shall walk like blind men, because they have sinned against the Most High. And their blood shall be poured out as dust, and their flesh as dung. It's just giving us the description, family, just how bad that's going to be. I mean, it's plenty of scriptures that you can share with friends and families about that day that they're not going to hear in a Christian church. Joel chapter 1:15, verse 15. "Alas, for the day of Yahuwah is at hand, and as a destruction from the Almighty shall it come. Let's keep going. Joel chapter 2, verse 11. And the Most High shall utter his voice before his army, for his camp is very great. For he is strong that executes his word. For the day of Yahuwah is great and very terrible. And who can abide it? I mean, who can stand, family? It's going to be terrible, family. You know, and I pray that the Most High has gathered us up somewhere in the wilderness, you know, that we escape Satan's wrath. Joel chapter 2, verse 31. The sun shall be turned into darkness, and the moon into blood, before the great and terrible day of Yahuwah comes. Amos chapter 5, verse 18. Woe unto you that desire the day of Yahuwah. To what end is it for you? The day of the Most High is darkness and not light. See, it tells you right there, family. Woe to you that desire that day. See, don't desire something that you don't really want to see. Let's let the Most High work this thing out like he has it planned and on his time and not ours. Because you asking for something that you really don't want to see. Obadiah 15. For the day of the Most High is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon your own head. See, this is what's going to happen to the wicked. Okay. Their day is coming. Everything they've done to the Most High's people is going to return back to them, probably tenfold. All right? What's that? 1 Thessalonians 5 and 2. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Most High so cometh as a thief in the night. See, that day is just going to happen, family. Nobody knows when. It's not going to be any warning. It's just going to happen. And we don't want to be found faithless, doubting, fainting, falling away. We don't want to be in that position, family. Because, like they said, it just comes on as a thief in the night. See, what thieves do, they try to break in under the cover of darkness and without being seen, without any announcement, that they're there. Okay. Daniel, chapter 12, verse 1. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the angel Michael, the great prince which stands for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. See, he said that day it's gonna be so bad that nothing like this has ever happened, family. Nothing. It's kind of hard to imagine how terrible it's gonna be. And even though we're reading the words, it don't do it justice. Matthew 24, verse 21. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. That's coming straight from Mashiach's mouth there. Okay? He's telling you how bad it's going to be. He said a great tribulation that hadn't happened since the beginning of the world. Luke chapter 21, verse 25 through 28. And there shall be signs in the sun, and in the moon, and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations, with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring, men's heart failing them for fear, and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth. For the powers of heaven shall be shaken. And then they shall see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draws near. See, you know, it tells you it's so terrible, men's heart just gonna fail. You know, just have a heart attack, you know, whatever. It's gonna be so frightening, you know. Let's read one more. Let's go to Revelations chapter 6, verse 13 through 17. And the stars of heaven fell unto the earth, even as a fig tree cast her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind. And the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together. And every mountain and islands were moved out of its place. And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman and every free man, hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains, and said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us, and hide us from the face of him that sits on the throne. For the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? Nobody. Nobody's going to be able to stand in that day, family. So, let's get our spiritual life, family, in top shape. Let's not fret and worry, because all these things that we seeing begin to happen. The wickedness of man increasing every single day. We should just focus on the Most High. Okay, and don't let these things weary you to the point to where you start doubting, because you yourself can't see the Most High's hand at work. But I assure you, he's working every day, whether you can see it or not. You know, he is working. All these things that are happening are going to come together worldwide. And then that's going to pretty much be a wrap, family. Like I say, Satan knows he has a short time. So this is why we see all these things happening at one time. It's to inundate your mind with all these things. And well, if you're worrying about all these different things that I named a little while back in this video, then your focus can't be on the Most High. You've occupied your man with bad news that's coming from the world. Okay? Keep your focus on the Most High and the joy that we're going to see whenever this is over. You know, the things of this world are temporary. They're not going to last at all. But we're going, if we believe and we endure, we're going to a place that's eternal, that has no end. This world system, it's got to go down, family. It's got to. This is why all these things are happening. Most High has to allow these things that he can complete his plan. When it gets so bad, then he cuts it off. It's a cutoff point. Okay? And the wicked of this earth shall be no more. You know. This is the world that we look forward to. Not this one. You know, you got people in church praying and praying for this world. You know, and the things of this world, they praying for money, they praying for things. They praying that if we keep marching and protesting, our enemies are gonna do things to make this world better. No, we don't pray for this world. We pray for the one to come. This one's finished. It's not going to get better. You can do all the praying about this world you want to. It's already been slated and designated by the Most High himself for destruction. So why these Christian churches and pastors are always trying to fix this world? You can't fix it. It's not supposed to be fixed. It's supposed to be destroyed. And to teach otherwise, then you're teaching against the Most High's prophecy itself. He's going to destroy it. That's it. You can't pray this world, this system, into a good standing. You just can't do it. Don't waste your time. Our enemies are not going to change. Okay? They only get worse. They only get worse. So, your prayer should be directed toward the new kingdom, the new world, which will be established by none other than Yahushua. Okay? So, let's just hang in here, family. I know it's tough. You know, when you look at these things that keep going on in this world, it gets kind of tough. But if it bothers you that much, family, quit watching it. Quit listening to it. And just focus on the Most High only. You know, if it bothers you to that point, you don't want to be among those who give up and feel hopelessness. Therefore will cause you to fall away. There's nothing in this world that causes you to fall away faster than doubt. Okay? Okay, family. I think I've said enough on this subject for now. And I thank you again for joining me. And share this video, family. You know, just the knowledge and stuff that we receive, we're not supposed to keep it to ourselves. You know, you have to let your light shine also. All right? So just share the video. You may be surprised. Somebody may just hear something that would change them and cause them to get away from these false teachers. All right? Okay, family. With that being said, shalom.